Good morning. Greetings, friends, and welcome to this hour of worship at Unity Church Unitarian. I'm the Reverend Lara Cowtan. My pronouns are she and her. I'm the Minister of Congregational Care here, and I'm joined on the chancel this morning by Worship Associate Chris Russert. Whatever your gifts, your wounds, you are welcome here. However you choose to express love in the world, you are welcome here in this place that celebrates diversity and strives to be ever more inclusive. If you are a newcomer, a special welcome to you. Please fill out the visitor card in the back, a seat of the pew in front of you, and drop it in the offertory basket as it passes you by. And a special welcome to those of you joining us online today in the virtual sanctuary of your own making at home. If you care to prepare a candle to light with us when we light our chalice here in the sanctuary. A couple of things to note today. This is a very, very special day, a very rare day here at Unity Church. We're going to have a fire drill. Yeah. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. The way we're going to do this, and I'm going to have to use my hands, is we're dividing you into thirds. Now, I know there may be 10 different directions you want to go in. You have 3 options. The short pew there, can you raise your hand if you're in the short pew? That is the front third of the sanctuary. All of you folks will, in a very orderly fashion, leave out this door and go straight through the parish hall and out the door in the corner that will lead you directly to Grotto Street, where you will cross and meet up in the park across the street in House of Hope Park. So that's the front third. This back third on the reading desk side will go out that exit door there. Did you know there is an exit door there? There is, and it opens and it goes to the garden, and then you will go along the front of the building and across the street to Grotto, across Grotto to the park of House of Hope. And then this back corner here on the pulpit side, you will go out the way you came in an orderly fashion, leaving all of your belongings behind, including your children, who will be downstairs, and they're going to beat you to the park. All right? They will be there waiting for you. This back corner leaves out this way and then goes out the main doors and directly across Grotto to the House of Hope parking lot. We're going to do a quick sweep of the building. Check, check, check. The annoying sound in here will stop. There'll be an all clear. Chris and I will then meet you at the doors as you come back in to get a warm coffee and spend time in the parish hall with our 3 artists who are exhibiting that beautiful art exhibition that's been up right now. And we want them to have a good experience too, so please do come back and spend some time in parish hall with the artists. All clear? Are my flight attendant instructions? Okay, we'll do this again right at the very end. I'll give you any reminders, but I think we're gonna nail this, folks. Anyone who needs special help getting out of the sanctuary, I invite you, just as they do on the airplanes, just to hold back for a minute, and we will help you in any way that you need, okay? So, with that, whatever brings you here to Unity Church this morning, maybe it's the excitement of a fire drill, maybe it's seeking some balance in your life to help you live a life of integrity, service, and joy. I hope you find what you have come here for this morning. Let us settle in now and begin our time with the pealing of our bell.
All the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut tree, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
Our call to worship this morning is in the words of Angela Herrera. Don't leave your broken heart at the door. Bring it to the altar of life. Don't leave your anger behind. It has high standards, and the world needs vision. Bring them with you, and your joy, and your passion. Bring your loving, and your courage, and your conviction. Bring your need for healing, and your power to heal. There is work to do, and you have all that you need to do it right here in this room. Please join me in saying our words together as we light our chalice flame. We light this chalice as a symbol of our faith, the light of truth and the warmth of love.
Good morning, everyone. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Ahmed Anzaldúa. I am Director of Music Ministries here at Unity Church. And this month, instead of singing songs for the hymnal, we're learning a new song in each service and just sort of try to, build up some new songs that you can sing out in the world. So I'm going to play a song over and over again. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to listen. And I'd like you to try to pick it up as I play it. I'm going to repeat it over and over again. You can hum along. You can start singing la, la, la. And I'm just going to keep going until it sounds like most people are singing with me. So it goes like this. It repeats. And as you get it, maybe you can do it a little louder. So most people are singing it. So this is Bella Ciao, which might be the anti-fascist anthem. This is a song that comes from, it's a farmer song from Italy, from the late 19th century. Legend goes, it's not really true, but legend goes that this was the song of the partisans, the anti-fascist movement and anti-Nazi fighters in Italy and in Germany. And that farmer song has a little phrase that goes, Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Can you sing that? Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. It just means like bella, beautiful, ciao, goodbye, goodbye, beautiful, goodbye, beautiful. Because, why, goodbye, beautiful? Because I'm gonna go out to fight. So if we translate it to English, the lyrics might be something like, one fine morning, I woke up early. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Oh, one fine morning, I woke up early to find the fascists at my door. And then, keeps going. And then I'm going to go and fight the fascists. This has become a real protest song around the world. You will find versions of this song in every language. From Sri Lanka to Colombia to the United States to Hungary, it is a song that people, and football games and soccer, well, you guys call it soccer. It is a song that people sing as an anti-fascist song. I remember singing this with huge crowds of people in the year 2000 when the ruling party in Mexico was finally voted out after 80 years of being in power. As recently as 2019, 2020, this was like the workers' anthem in Colombia and the general strikes that were happening all over the country. It's the song that people are singing against the far-right government of Bolsonaro in Brazil. It's the song that people sing in Germany and Italy against the far-right extremist parties when they show up to counter-protest. When Viktor Orban, the Hungarian prime minister, showed up at the European Parliament, the representatives from all the, I guess, countries with more sane governments started singing it at him. So the thing about Bella Ciao is that it is a very easy song to zip new lyrics into. And if you don't know the song, you can still sing Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, 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 and that's great. So here's a really simple version that we can zip some new lyrics into. So repeat after me. Oh, we are singing. Oh, we are singing. There we go. And at the end we could go, and we will not be silent now. There you go. Now what can we zip into after Oh, we are singing? Well, we can zip in for peace and freedom. We can zip in for all our neighbors. You can zip in whatever words you want that you feel that you should be singing for. So for example, this is what it would sound like for peace and freedom. Oh, we are singing for peace and freedom. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Oh, we are singing for peace and freedom, and we will not be silent now. Give it a try. Oh, we are singing peace and freedom, for freedom. Bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao. Oh, we are singing for peace and freedom, and we will not be silent now. One more time. Oh, we are singing for bread and justice, for bread and justice. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao. Oh, we are singing for bread and justice, and we will not be silent now. For all our neighbors, oh, we are singing for all our neighbors. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. We are singing for all our neighbors, and we will not be silent now. All right, so every song we've done this month, there's been a little homework, right? Okay, homework number 1, Google search the song and just learn about different places that it has been sung for. It is fascinating to see where this song has popped up. Homework number 2, make up a verse of your own. Sounds good? All right, thank you, everyone. Woo-hoo.
Please rise and join in our responsive reading.
First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out.
Because I was not.
Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out. Then they came for me.
Each time we gather for worship, we set aside a moment to expand the caring ministry of this congregation. Let us now pause, take a deep breath together. We enter into our time of meditation, reflection, prayer. Here at Unity, we generously give and openly receive compassionate care in times of joy, sorrow, and transition. Each one of us is part of our circle of care, connecting with cards that you write and calls and texts and smiles and hugs, comfort shawls knit and delivered with love. Together, we recognize the cycle of life and death and the circle of love, compassion, and witness that is at the center of this and every sacred community. From among us today, we lift in our healing embrace Karen Buggs, who is home recuperating from a knee replacement last week. We send our prayers for a speedy recovery and return to her many activities. We hold Joe Lucas in our healing embrace. Joe reported to the emergency department on Thursday night with chest pain, and 2 stents were placed successfully on Friday. She'll be recovering at home, being doted on by Ruel and family once she's released from the excellent care of the team at United Hospital. Our healing care enfolds Louise Miriam, who is also at United Hospital and resting comfortably from rare complications following a routine colonoscopy with Jim at her side, who says, "Please don't let people think they shouldn't get their colonoscopy." We lift in our care Kevin Ely as he grieves the death of his father, Barry Frank Ely, who died this past Monday, March 17th. Kevin said his passing was somewhat sudden, though in other ways not unexpected. Barry had been in hospice care for several months and had been living with dementia and other serious health challenges for more than 10 years. He will be missed. We hold also in our tender embrace Greg Hellenbrand, whose father, Herb Hellenbrand, died on March 6th at the age of 95 in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Herb was a farmer at heart who turned those soil skills into a successful landscaping business to support his growing family. And we embrace Rich Hamer and his family as they grieve Rich's mom, Nancy Hamer, who died on March 14th in Mankato at the age of 90. Nancy lived an active life of faith and love and service, and will be greatly missed by her children and grandchildren. It is a reality of our human condition that on any given day, there are those among us experiencing something from the full spectrum of life's joys and challenges. Those coming to grips with a new medical condition or a change in what was once a trusted state of physical ability. Those among us who may struggle at times to find the blessing and joy in caring for a loved one day after day in their declining health. And those loved ones who understand this complex blessing of being cared for in their time of need. Within our community, there are those struggling with unseen ailments of heart, body, mind, soul, seeking solace, healing, witness, and belonging. Among us are those whose daily spiritual practice of raising and teaching and shaping children is as exhausting as it is exhilarating and rewarding. And they may seek a place of respite, of comfort, of community, a space for self. Among us are those whose sensitive hearts and conscience are gravely impacted by the woes and threats of the world, trying to stay calm and balanced amidst fear, despair, grief. And so too, are there those among us whose hearts are filled with joy of new lives, new grandbabies, with the budding promise of spring in the garden, with sparks of new love, bright futures. So are the thresholds and cycles of our lives. Our hearts expand to hold all as we bear witness to and hold one another. I invite you to speak into this sacred space or the silence of your own heart, the names of those that you wish to hold in our collective embrace this morning. For all these names, spoken and not spoken aloud, but held deep in our hearts, we offer our prayers. And we join now in a time of silence to listen and feel our communal breath and heartbeats. Blessed be.
Many of us know we have the capacity for courage because we remember a time when someone harnessed it to stand with us. Mine happened in 7th grade science class. Our teacher, Mr. Benson, held a day when we were encouraged to ask him anything by writing anonymous questions on slips of paper, and he would spend the class responding to them out loud. He mentioned in a previous class, a student had written that they were questioning their sexual orientation. The class burst out in mocking laughter. As someone who was facing the same questions at the time, it felt like a punch in the gut. The shame I felt in who I was and the fear of what would happen if my secret got out felt suffocating. Thankfully, it was not the end of the story. Izzy, a girl in my class, was not ready to see other people pushed around. She spoke up loudly and powerfully that it was a legitimate question and that there was nothing wrong with people being attracted to the same gender. What was wrong was belittling people for who they were. Izzy never knew the impact she made on me that day. She was not popular for expressing those views in that place and time. But she knew who she was, and she knew the values that mattered enough to have the courage to speak up for the others, for the dignity of others anyways. Because of her stand, I felt less alone that day, and I have held faith ever since in the power of holding one another in solidarity, even if we don't share all the same identities or experiences. In this community, each of us can choose courage to speak up, as Izzy did, against the dehumanization of others, instead of isolating ourselves from their plight until it is too late. I invite everyone to think of a time in your lives where you felt threatened or afraid, and someone took it upon themselves to stand with you. When witnessing injustice, what does it take for you to do the same? Stand and say, "I'm here for you."
Unity Church is framed by statements of conscience, known as its end statements. One of those is sustain and steward the church and our larger Unitarian Universalist movement for the future. Our movement extends beyond these walls to partners with whom we share a common interest. And each week, the larger portion of our offering goes to support these community partners. Altruza International works for the well-being of international families struggling to plant roots in St. Paul. Their primary focus is childhood literacy, workforce training, and emergency food assistance. This collection that we take today will support their partnership with The Sandwich Man, an organization working daily to distribute sandwiches to people without homes in the Twin Cities. We know that when we live lives of integrity, service, and joy, that generosity is sure to follow. Please give as generously as you are able. Will the ushers please come forward? Thank you.
Our reading today is adapted from the article Righteous Among the Nations, Israel Honors Two Unitarians for Heroism in World War II by Michelle Bates Deakin. On a snowy night in Prague in 1939, Martha Sharp jumped from a taxi, darted around a corner, and flattened herself into a doorway. The heels of a pursuing Gestapo agent clicked past her. She entered an unlit apartment building, dashed up 5 flights of stairs, and rang the bell of a known anti-Nazi leader. 6 weeks earlier, Martha and her husband, the Reverend Waitstill Sharp, had left their young children safely behind in the United States so they could volunteer for a relief effort in Czechoslovakia, sponsored by the American Unitarian Association. Then, one night in 1939, the Nazi army marched into Prague, the capital of Czechoslovakia, and occupied the city. The helping mission of the Sharps instantly changed into a treacherous cloak and dagger mission. That March night, a woman opened the apartment door to Martha, denying she had even heard of the man Martha was asking for. "I begged," Martha recounted the story later to a biographer. "I told her there was little time. I produced my American passport. When she saw it, she said in Czech, 'A moment.' Then she snatched my passport from me and shut the door in my face." For the next few minutes, Martha frantically worried whether she'd see her passport again. Her passport was her only ticket to safety. But the door did open, and this time, a man stood before her. She explained that she had been charged by a group of British and American refugee workers with transporting him to the British embassy so he could be smuggled from the country. The man asked her to wait a moment, then disappeared into the apartment. He opened the door again, wearing an overcoat. Together, they walked through the wind and the snow across the city. A Nazi soldier stopped them when they reached a bridge over the Vltava River. Martha produced her passport and confidently announced, "Americans." They were waved across the bridge, then stopped by another soldier on the other side. The passport trick worked again and again until Martha and Mr. X walked into the embassy to safety. Martha then returned to her apartment, where Waitstill was returning from a similar mission. They watched out their window as Nazi soldiers looted Prague's stores and warehouses.
Let's say goodbye with a smile, dear, just for a while, dear, we must part. Don't let the parting upset you, I'll not forget you, sweetheart. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away, far away. So will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that that as you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Some sunny day. So will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away, far away.
What would I risk my life for? Would I risk everything for someone I don't even know? Would I have hidden a Jew from Nazis, knowing that being discovered would mean imprisonment and even my death? I'd like to think so. I pray I'll never have to find out. In the fall of 2016, the documentary Defying the Nazis, The Sharp's War, was released with much fanfare. Working together with Ken Burns and Artemis Jakowski III, who was the grandson of Waitstill and Martha Sharp, the Unitarian Universalist Association and the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee created a study guide and other materials to help local UU leaders around the country organize events to counter Islamophobia at home and become allies to Muslim refugees around the world, all around the release of this movie. Do you remember the fall of 2016? It was a poignant time in history. At the tail end of an exhausting, tumultuous electoral campaign, when people felt certain that Hillary Clinton would win the election. A tipping point, when the retelling of the rise of fascism and tyranny in pre-war Europe was particularly galvanizing. Defying the Nazis, The Sharp's War, is the story of Unitarian minister Waitstill Sharp and Martha Sharp, a social worker, who left their 2 young children in the care of their Wellesley, Massachusetts parish and traveled to Czechoslovakia to aid refugees just before the war was about to break out in Europe. They combated political and social legislation, breaking laws in order to get imperiled individuals exit visas. You heard recently Mary Catherine Morn, who was here telling this story of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee creating the symbol of our flaming chalice in order to make those documents look more valid. They were involved with black market and money laundering to clandestine transportation of refugees. The Sharps played a vital role in the rescue of many Jews and dissidents from persecution. Children given into Martha's care by their parents in hopes that they may survive the coming Holocaust and arrive by boat at the Statue of Liberty to live their lives in freedom, perhaps never to see their parents again. In the film, you hear testimony from the children interviewed. They're now in their 80s. Artemis Tchaikovsky wanted to get this story out to the world to tell of his grandparents' daring actions and the personal sacrifices they made to do what they believed in, what their faith called them to do. They said, "We weren't particularly brave. Anyone would have done the same." Isn't that what heroes always say? And of course, it isn't true. In fact, 17 other Unitarian ministers had already turned down the request by the UUA, that phone call saying, "Will you go?" And they said no. And then Waitstill got the call and said yes. Yes, we will go. It's hard for people to sum up what motivates them to do the things that they do under great strain or a sense of moral obligation. For Waitstill and Martha Sharp, at this time of great need and fear, they felt they could do no less than to say yes. So I was in New York last week at meetings and forums around the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women. More on that another time. Let's just say it was a mixed experience of disappointment and inspiration. But I was talking there with Mary Catherine Morin, who was here recently, the president and CEO of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee. And she was delighted that I'd be talking about the Sharps today, and also that Unity's very own fledgling UUSC team will be hosting a showing of the documentary here for a movie night on Friday, May 16th. Yes, mark your calendars. Friday, May 16th. You can see this movie with all the spoilers that you're receiving today. So there's no surprise that this movie is getting another round of attention recently. And yet, this is not the same as 2016. And I don't mean just the politics of the day, I mean who we are as an audience, the lens through which we are viewing this movie. Looking at it now, knowing what I know about colonialism and dismantling systems of oppression, I see the trope of two white Americans saving the day, which is not to take away from the courage and sacrifice of the Sharps, but it is not the whole story of the grassroots resistance and networks and personal sacrifice of those most impacted, who did not leave their children somewhere safe. The Czech Unitarian minister in Prague, Norbert Čapek, was arrested by the Nazis for continuing, despite warnings, to broadcast his messages of equality, and he was murdered in a Nazi concentration camp, while his wife came over to the United States to try to fundraise to help support the work that Martha and Waitstill were doing. Today, the power and privilege of the American passport may also not be quite the same that it was in 1940 or in 2016. Yet many things are tragically and maddeningly unchanged from the terror and extremism of the 1940s, echoed in situations of today, in the news of even just yesterday. In our world right now, 65 million people, half of them children, have fled their homes to escape racial and religious persecution, tyrannical regimes and endless wars, famine, and the devastating effects of climate change. There are so many refugees out there today, each one of them a full human being with inherent worth and dignity. On the day of the movie's release in 2016, I was at a special event in New York's Community Church, hosted by the producers, Ken Burns and Artemis Tchaikovsky. Unfortunately, not Tom Hanks, who stars in the movie. But there were also some notable social justice activists and speakers. And one of them was a bright young Syrian woman named Suna, and she shared her story. Her family had often been threatened for speaking out against the Assad regime and in support of human rights. Her house had been sacked, her father detained for some time, yet they continued their work, using their voices and social media to counter hatred and oppression. And 3 years earlier, when Suna had been in the US for a conference, her father was taken violently by the Syrian government. Her 3 sisters, were smuggled out to Turkey. One made it into Germany and was at school, and her mother and 2 other sisters remained stuck in a dismal refugee camp with no idea whether her father was alive or not. Suna just happened to be in the United States, and she was taken in first by a Jewish family in New York, and then by other interfaith families. She received a scholarship for school and continued her social justice activism, using her voice to combat the fear and misunderstanding of xenophobia and Islamophobia, still not knowing about her family's plight. After sharing her story, Suna asked, Are you afraid of me? Our responsive reading. That quote that begins with the words, "First they came for," has been adapted many times over the years, and it was written first by Martin Niemöller, who died in 1984. He was a prominent Lutheran pastor in Germany. In the 1920s and early 1930s, he sympathized with many Nazi ideas and supported radically right-wing political movements. But after Adolf Hitler came to power in 1933, Niemöller became an outspoken critic of Hitler's interference in the Protestant church. And he spent the last 8 years of Nazi rule, from 1937 to 1945, himself in Nazi prisons and concentration camps. The quotation expresses Niemöller's belief that Germans had been complicit through their silence in the Nazi imprisonment, persecution, and murder of millions of people. He felt this was especially true of the leaders of the Protestant churches, leaders of faith, guided by their values and by God. The core values of Unitarian Universalism are interdependence, pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, and equity. These values center around love. Our faith stresses that the future of humanity and our very earth is in human hands, in our hands. And this is what motivated the Sharps. This is what motivates me. Reverend Sharp made to his congregation in Wesley, Massachusetts, a declaration of war on evil. And he said to them, "What shall we do? What shall we do?" So this is the question for us today. As we face the greatest refugee crisis in the history of our world, as we witness the assault on government infrastructure and social systems, the rights of migrants, of people of color, of LGBTQ and other marginalized and vulnerable people in this country of liberty and justice for all. What shall we do? The voices and forces of fear and hatred cannot be met with silence. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." The Sharps' story is a call to action, to break the silence, to examine our own moral convictions and ask ourselves, what shall we do? Artemis wrote about his grandparents. And he said, Martha and Waitstill Sharp never saw themselves as extraordinary. They simply believed that good people need to stand up for what is good in the world, and that each of us should try to make a difference for the better in the world around us. Through their lived example, Waitstill and Martha Sharp remind us that confronting evil wherever and whenever it appears is more than a principle. It is a moral imperative, requiring direct action by individuals as well as nations. What would I risk my life for? Would I risk everything for someone I don't even know? Would I have hidden a Jew from Nazis knowing that being discovered would mean imprisonment and maybe even my death? Would I shelter a Jew or a Palestinian, a trans person, a woman seeking an abortion, a migrant, a refugee, a human being, no matter who they are, whose life is sacred? Would I risk myself to speak up against injustice? Yes. I say yes. That is what love demands of me. At this time of great need and fear, just as Waitstill and Martha before, I can do no less than say yes. May it be so. Amen.
All right, everyone. So every service at the end, we've sung Resilience. By now, you should know it or know most of it. And if not, the words are in your order of service. And I encourage you to stand up with me. Please stand up as you are willing and able. So let's see. You have two options to sing. You can sing Resilience. We are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience. Make a new plan. Stand up again and say, yes, we can. And also there's the part that we learned last week, which goes, oh, oh, we are strong. Hold on. I want to make it, and I know we will. Yes, it's hard to keep going, but it's worse to stand still. I see lots of bewildered faces for that one. And again, you're not being graded. Just pick one and sing it loudly. We're going to sing this whole thing 3 times through, and I would like you to please be loud. Please be raucous. Please stomp your feet. Ready? Here we go. We are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan, stand up again and say, yes, we can. Oh, we are strong, hold on. I want to make it, and I know we will. Yes, it's hard to keep going, but it's worth to stand still. Resilience, we are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, I want to make it, and I know we will. Yes, it's hard to keep going. All right, hold on, folks. We said 3 times, but you know what? I would say that I got about 30% of your enthusiasm this morning, and I have been here since 7 a.m., so you have no excuse. You need to do it. You get to do it one more time, and I would like it at least twice as loud. Here we go. Ready, and... Resilience, we are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, and I know we do best. It's stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience, we are strong, shoulder to shoulder, keep moving on. Resilience, make a new plan, stand up again and say, yes, we can. Resilience. All right, thank you, everyone. We are going to evacuate, so Lara,
Yes.
listen for instructions now.
Okay. Well, first, I would like to share the words that were shared last week by our very own Sarah Ford in closing. We are all in this together. We have always been so, and we are ready to meet this moment. With that, Chris will begin extinguishing all the flames. And we're going to do our fire drill, and it's going to be fantastic. The front third, from the short pew right across, all of you folks are going to come forward and go through that door, straight through the parish hall, out the corner. You back third, you're going to go out that back corner door, where, yep, somebody's waving back there, that's it, and go out onto the street and cross Grotto to meet in the park. This back third, out that door, straight out. Leave your belongings here. If you have a child in your arms, take that with you. Other children will meet you in the park. Here we go.